Hello here, I'm your Mamilu. Please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Katribo Studio, if you want me to continue this advocacy. Meanwhile, I will be launching a new feature episode. Make sure to click that notification bell to be updated. This episode is requested by Michiko Ariola Lopez. Hello, Michiko. For our topic, how to start a community-based senior care facility with no money. So let us first understand what is a community-based senior care facility. Are you ready? A community-based senior care facility is a residential setting designed to provide care and support for elderly individuals within a community environment. These facilities aim to offer a balance of independence and assistance, catering to the physical, emotional, and social needs of the seniors. It aims to provide a home-like atmosphere while ensuring that seniors receive the care and support they need to maintain a good quality of life. Okay? So, why do we need this? Even though Filipinos are culturally expected to take care of the elderly, the reality is called the culture changes and even our way of life ba? Daily lives changes. Your children have their own families, right? And problems to take care of, and sometimes the elderly are the ones being forgotten because they are also having a lot of challenges. Sons and daughters also have the difficulty to uproot their elderly parents because they choose to stay in their home where everything is familiar, especially if they are still have friends in their own neighborhood. No? Tama ba? So share your thoughts about this. Diba? Some children has improved their lives. They have relocated to their new home or residences. But if they ask their parents to go and join, they will not. Why? Because it is they have grown in the community, and so that's it. No? So please share your thoughts about this. Community-based senior care facilities offer numerous advantages for both the elderly and community. Here are some key benefits. Unsa man ang benepisyo aning community-based elderly facility, no? Enhance social interaction. Seniors have more opportunities to interact with peers and kanabang kakapwa, no? And participate in group activities, reducing feelings of loneliness and isolation. Community engagement facilitates stronger connections with the local community through events and programs. Yes, because sometimes, fiesta, anniversary, araw ng barangay, araw ng purok. So, kung nasa community, even if they cannot physically or actively participate, but they are still part of it. Then, personalized care. Smaller community-based facilities can provide more personalized care tailored to each resident's needs. Seniors often feel more comfortable and secure in familiar community setting. Yes, that's true. Because sometimes for those who have been facing dementia or Alzheimer, they are not already familiar. So when in the community there are certain things that memory that is being registered to them. Sometimes they become uncomfortable because the location or the setup is not already familiar with them. So number three is improve quality of life. So holistic well-being programs and activities designed to promote physical, mental, and emotional health. Services and activities can be tailored to reflect the cultural and social values of the community. Yes. No, so quality of life, because you see sometimes a group of communities are former teachers, workers, government workers, so you can have that. Sometimes it's a group of farmers, fishermen in the community. So it can be tailored, no, kung what is fitted, no, in the community. Then number four is cost-effective care, often more affordable than larger institutional facilities due to community support and volunteer involvement. Resource sharing utilizes local resources and volunteer services, reducing operational expenses. Sometimes, diba, there are neighbors who would come, oh, I don't have companion, we have a patient, and they would just offer 4 hours, 6 hours, half day, or even one day. So, it's very cost effective, no, if it is in the community. And sometimes, also, some neighbors would bring some food, no, to share to the patient. So, it is because when you go to the institutional facility or hospitals, it is really very expensive. You have to have the cost of transportation. Number 5 is community involvement. Provides avenues for community members to contribute through volunteering, fostering a sense of solidarity, encourages partnership with local businesses, healthcare providers, and organizations. So, yes, that's true, community involvement. Because for me, in the senior citizen, sometimes those in the health, just like those in mga liniment, lotions, companies, or even hygiene kits, I mean, uh, they tag it, no? So, we can also partner with them if we have some groups. And usually, we give priorities to our family members who are bedridden or those who need special care because we have a big population. So we can also do that in the community because we can just inform them. Now, especially if during payout also, no, because it's a big impact to their company. So they give free massage, free liniment, or they can also sell some products. So it's a win-win situation. Then accessibility, located within the community, making it easier for family members to visit and participate in the care. It creates easy access to local amenities and services such as parks, libraries, and healthcare. No, because we have the barangay health center, and sometimes also it is near to the how could that the district hospital, no, and we have some parks, libraries, at their schools. So accessibility also if we just have that facility within the community. Then number 7 is flexibility and innovation. Ability to quickly implement new programs and services based on community feedback and needs. Yes, that's true, no? Focuses on the preferences, choices of residents, promoting independence and dignity. Just like in our community, sometimes their needs is just like to have the, for Catholics, no? The confession, the communion, and also the anointing of the sick. So you don't have to wait when the person is dying for the anointing of the sick. So we also coordinate that with our JKK, and our JKK and church will coordinate that also with the parish because there are also some procedures that they have to say confession with the priest, then also their communion, and then later on the representative, no, the pangulo sa how to call that, there's a person in charge in the community, under the JKK, who will be assigned to do the ano the communion, no, even weekly communion. So we can also, and then there are also those who are cancer survivors, so there are other needs, so we can also link them to non-invasive, just like in us, we are always coordinating with the Pranic Healing Foundation Philippines and the Mindanao Pranic Healing Center, so that they can also avail the free healing, and also care, counseling, which is now every Thursday, no, at the Mindanao Pranic Healing Center. So they are tailor fit, and also those who are having some other religions or spiritual practice, so we can also tailor fit their needs, no, especially those uh, mga senior citizens. Okay, and the neighbors, but just like neighbors can look into the concern, no, just to look after, because sometimes there are some neighbors who just would like, we have one who are suffering from Alzheimer, so we can also look around for the whereabouts, where she is going, when the family would try to also check, no, because she has left the gate or outside, no, walk outside. Okay, the eighth advantage is health benefits increase social interaction and personalized care, contribute to improve personal and mental health. Regular monitoring and preventive measures can help reduce the incidence to, to severe health issues. So actually, we are, from our experience, we're coordinating with the barangay, and there is also a senior, no, BHW, barangay health worker, who is also trying to focus, and also this home visitation, because sometimes when they are bedridden, so we have also the social interaction, because sometimes when we visit our home base or those bedridden or those physically incapacitated members, elderly, they would always look at their best. No, they have to take shower, they have to dress up, and then the families will also have to meet. So there is a social interaction, and those visiting the elderly or the bedridden members of the community is familiar. Sometimes the neighbors and then the group will just visit. So because there are a lot of health issues just like depression and grief, because sometimes elderly persons will lose a spouse or even children, grandchildren. So this monitoring also would be very helpful, no? Because it's not only providing food or even medicines, but sometimes the emotional and mental situations that happens as part of life. The elderly has also some difficulty in coping. Okay, the number 9 is support for families, provides relief for family caregivers, allowing them to take breaks while ensuring their loved ones are cared for. Families can have peace of mind knowing their loved ones are in the supportive and caring environment. Yes, that's true because sometimes when we visited one of the I don't know bedridden, not bedridden, but he suffered from stroke, but he cannot move around. Everybody, and then I was just imagining the wife was full time, the daughter was also working, taking care of full time, no, because the mother is also elderly, and then the cost of caregiver is very expensive. So this community based, so we can also even a half day or 1 day break, no, if this is the care facility, so that also the family members can have their own life also, ba, to live their own life, no, not also just to be there because it's so demanding, no, 24/7. So if they have only few hours for themselves, also for their own wellness and well-being. Number 10, foster a sense of shared responsibility and mutual support within the community, enhances community pride and cohesion by addressing the needs of senior members. Because, sometimes it's good to engage the younger members of the community into the activities of the senior. Just like, for example, our Zumba. We have this, and we have younger, we have encouraged because they are either children or grandchildren of our senior residents. And then they have their way ba of connecting, and we can also have a way of interacting with them. And then later on, they would have also some realization and some direct experience and learnings, the conditions of the senior citizen. Sometimes they would really help, no, just like when we do the physical setup, we make arrangements so they have to climb the ladder and all these things. And then of course there is this diba, the reward or incentive of the government when you reach 100 years old. So what quality of life, so that cohesion ba, so we have also the challenge in our chapter that we will try to work out for the next 10 years, I guess, that we will have one of the highest, no, uh, quality, happy, healthy senior citizens in here in Agdao district and hopefully in Davao City, no, because it's also good, no, to look forward not only the incentive but the quality of life, and should be a community effort, a community prayer that senior citizens in our community will live longer, but they should be happy, healthy, wealthy. And sometimes if there are gaps in the community or family, no, family support, then the community will fill in the gap in that support, and that brings bond and social cohesion, unity within the community, and that makes the community vibrant even if there are more senior citizens. Just like in Samal, I have one community, no, they are relocated, and because it's quite far, so most of those who were left behind are the children of their children and the senior citizens, because their children has to go to the city or move outside Samal for work, for livelihood. So it even abroad, no, there are a lot of in Lupon, I saw a group, no, of OFW, and then their group also has returned because they have already been senior citizens, and then they also have some special needs, those OFW. So sometimes, and others also, no, elderly are also how do you call that? They are bonded by the caring of their grandchildren. So we have to give them also a break, and this should be a family discussion that they have to break. Sometimes there was a grandmother, I told her, oh, you went outside, you went on a travel. And she said, no, it does not make a difference, ma'am. Why? Because the family was on travel, but I was still taking care of their children. So nagbantay lang gihapon dito sa mga bata. Nilaag lagi, pero it's not her time. No, gidala lang siya dito para also to take care of the children and the family. So sometimes this awareness should also be brought into the attention of children, that give your parents their personal time. Okay? So by leveraging these advantages, community-based senior care facilities can significantly enhance the lives of seniors while strengthening the fabric of local community. Yes, that's really true, no? By having these community-based senior facilities, just like to bring, where to bring. No, even myself, I was contemplating if the children would be busy and they will be concerned about their own family, or they have to work abroad. Then I was contemplating to explore, because we have many referrals, no, of patients and elderly in many facilities, private and public. But now I come to realize that as we go together with this program with the senior citizen in our barangay, that we can leverage that, for the community, no, the fabric ba, beautiful, colorful fabric of our community. So please share this video to your friends, family who might be in need of the information. Okay? So meanwhile, home care support facilities for senior citizens.
Home care support services.
Oh, home care support services for senior citizen. Acronym is HCSSSC, is a community-based program of the DSWD. That's a community-based program of the Department of Social Welfare and Development that aims to provide quality care for the sick, frail, and bedridden senior citizens in their homes through their family, kinship carers, home care volunteers. The project ensures that older persons, their families, and communities to promote healthy and harmonious family relationships and take effective steps to provide care and protection for the sick, frail, bedridden, disabled, abandoned, and neglected senior citizens. The program is there, but the LGU should set up it first. Why wait it if we can do our share, right? So, creating a community-initiated senior care facility without significant financial resources requires leveraging. What is leveraging? Mura bang imo habang kung sa sistema pa na i-barter na ako ingon ani, ihatagan po kun nimo, di ba? I-leverage nimo ba? No? Ihangyo or i-cambio, no? Community assets, volunteer efforts, in-kind contributions, here a guide to achieve it. So, unsa man ang mga giya? Kay I know most of you are leaders also. You might be in their community and you really want to do something, because sometimes these are people nga naaman sila kwarta but nobody is caring for them. They live alone, and then also it becomes a kind of dysfunction or conflict sa family, because there will always be a time that children will have to complain. I have done my part, it's your part, and it is costly and it's very expensive to care for elderly. It's a reality, no? It's a reality for each and every, whether you are rich, you are poor, or middle income. Taking care of the elderly, the bedridden, and the frail is very, very challenging, physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and financially. And sometimes that becomes the conflict that happens to families. But if the community can really do something about it, then we can still continue to care for it. So, so bring together committed individuals. So, community mobilization and engagement. Bring together committed individuals, individual local leaders, healthcare providers, senior citizens, advocates, volunteers to discuss the initiative, gather input, and build consensus on how to proceed it. So it's really good. Sometimes we meet a lot of people sharing this concern, to really care. So just how to start it, then gather them, small group. Utilize these meetings to identify available resources. So Also establish dedicated group responsible volunteers. So it's really important that there should be commitment in this, not just like a spur of the moment idea, but those who cannot commit time also. So then planning and overseeing the development of the operations of the senior care facility. So for me, I have not really found no community-based care facility from my experience. But institutional, which are church-based led, whatever religion, I have already seen. So it's really being able but to start it up, you know. But just like in our community, we're starting the discussion about this and looking forward how to proceed, no. But in terms of mechanisms where we can ask help, it's really starting, no. There are a lot of people who are willing to help in the community. Then leverage existing resources. So utilize community spaces, identify existing community buildings such as new schools, daycare, community centers, churches, multipurpose hall that can be repurposed for this facility. Yes, because sometimes there are a lot of facilities that has not been used. So it's always try good to have an inventory. Do you have that kind of uh, facility in your area? Seek in-kind donations like furniture, medical equipment, supplies, and other necessary items from local businesses, residents, and organizations. Yes, because sometimes a lot of these are really, they have extra chairs, no? So furnitures, beds. So we can do that, no? Because there are a lot of generous people in our community if we just stop them. Then engage volunteers, recruit volunteers, mobilize community members to volunteer their time, skills, include healthcare professionals, caregivers, administrative staff, and general helpers. Yes, because in our community, we have some retired nurses, retired BHW, retired BNS, so we can have that, and also those in the community. It's a matter of really engaging them, but you have to respect also their time. So, dapat 1 to 2 hours na during meetings, no, not long, because they are also having other concerns, because it's voluntary, it's open, voluntary. So utilize the expertise of community members. That's it. Retired health workers, teachers, and provide services and training. Yes, because there are a lot really of mga expertise in the community. We just have to have them, and even songs and playing music, it's good. Even math teachers, simple exercises, because we really have to have also some mental exercises for the seniors. And we can invite all these teachers, no, and professionals in our community. Then partner with local organizations, collaborate with local nonprofit organizations, religious institutions, civic groups that can give support and resources. So seek pro bono services, approach local businesses, professionals like lawyers, contractors, for pro bono services to assist in the legal matters, renovations, and other needs. Yes, that's really true, no? So, uh, because some companies or construction companies or even business institutions, they have this requirement of corporate social responsibility. They can spend, no, or give something, donations, which would be deducted from their operating cost. So let us explore those mga companies. We have some initial activities, just like the SM Cares Foundation. We have initially made partners with them, and they have supported us in some of our activities. So we have to explore more, no? Because they are just looking for groups that they would be the channel for their services and their programs. Then fundraising and resource generation. To organize fundraising events such as bake sales, charity walks, community fairs, encourage small and regular contributions from community members. You can also apply for grants from local, national, and international organizations that support community initiatives and elderly claim. So that's true. So for these organized fundraising, bake sales, charity walks, and community fairs, you really have to have a legal personality. So now, in the transition of the SWD to NCSC, all the senior citizens, organizations, and associations before, they are not required to have a SEC registration. Now, with the National Commission on Senior Citizens registration of these organizations, we are required to have SEC registration. because if we have some projects programs, then we can also have the juridical or legal personality. So looking forward, so sometimes some senior citizen groups would say, do we really have to register with SEC? It's really being encouraged by NCSC to have legal personality because the leaders come and go, but the organization will remain. No? Some will graduate, no, and so there would be more coming. So the legal personality or being registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission will also give you the protection and also the mandate because there are a lot of things that you can take advantage if you have a legal personality, and you can also engage protection also, no, you can be sued or be sued, and that's very important. So it's good to really work on working out with a lot of activities, but make sure that we have to secure our legal, no legal. For us now, we are being recognized by the City Social Welfare and the DSWD, but we are now completing the transition, the 3-year transition of the National Commission on Senior Citizens. So I would like to recommend, no, to our different groups that you have to work out. Oh, we are also working out now with our SEC registration. If you have SEC registration, that is one of the requirements. It's easy for you to source out funds and also to look forward that we are putting up these facilities because it will benefit us. Now, for those who are okay today, healthy today, but there would be a certain time that watching over and caring for the elderly, ill, and bedridden would really be a challenge to the families. So if we have the senior care facility, so there is a safe place for us, and now it's a good time to invest, no, to plan this project. Sometimes we wait, but this is one good project, the community-based senior care facility. Then develop policies and procedures. So develop clear policies and procedures to ensure smooth operations and high quality care. Include guidelines for volunteer management, resident care, and safety protocols. No, ensure that the rights and dignity of residents are protected and upheld in all aspects of care. So really, no, when you have this senior care facility, the rights of the patient should be fully understood, and the data privacy should also be understood because sometimes it's a community facility. It should not be a community chismis. What happens to the patient there, and there is some altercation with family members. It becomes already a news in the community. So all those who would be managed should be trained. What are the rights of the patient, the right of the family, the rights to privacy, even the information. No, in the past we have that discussion, so it's the same here. No, na we really have to ensure and develop all these policies and procedures also, programs, and it should be understood, no, to protect the volunteers and also the patients and their families, that they would be given proper dignity. Then 7 is implement community-based programs. Start with non-residential day programs where senior citizens can come for social activities, meals, basic healthcare services. So we're starting really now. Non-residential care is our happy health and wellness. So we have this Saturday Zumba, medical, dental, and also home visitations. And also we gather, no, sa that's why there is lugaw. I really would like to thank, no, we are beneficiaries, no, of the city, even in the past up to the present, to Mayor Baste. So, sometimes people would look down lugaw for the activities, but it's not. For senior citizens, it's really a good meal already. You have eggs already, you have rice, carbohydrates, and then you have some spices, ginger, which is good for the gut. So, these meals gathering and then healthcare services, no? So, and then also to inform them that there is an allocation for their vitamins, their maintenance, and their checkup, their free blood sugar test, no, monitoring. So it's important that we start it with the community-based programs. Then also organize volunteer teams to visit homebound seniors, providing companionship assistance with daily tasks and basic medical care. Yeah, it's really true because sometimes we have some cancer survivors in our community, and then some of us, the officers, will have a group visit by two, by three. And when we visit them, they seems not to have already illness because they have to receive you, to prepare snacks, they have conversation, and we were programming but that it would be a short visit, and then they really wanted longer time, and then now that we're starting the home visitation, others would say, oh, when are you going to visit me? So all these things, so it's really creating momentum and inspirations and the excitement also. So but we have to make it also sustainable, no, regular, so we just inform them on a monthly basis that they would be visited. Then, use of technology and remote support. So, partner with the healthcare providers to offer telehealth services for medical consultations and follow-up. Yes, there's already that, no, that you can have some online consultations. So, it's also good to, because it's Saturday or Sunday, or sometimes you cannot bring them out. So, partnership. Then, conduct virtual social activities, educational programs, and exercises activities to seniors, to keep the seniors engaged. Sometimes they just look at the Facebook, and sometimes not all the things are positive. So let us use the technology in a better purpose. Okay, then number 9 is continuous improvement. Establish a system for collecting feedback from residents, volunteers, and community members to continuously improve services. So yes, that's one. So there are always areas for improvement. So let it be part, when we decide to have a community facility. Number 10 is community ownership and sustainability. So empower the community, encourage the community ownership by involving residents and volunteers in decision-making processes. Establish sustainable practices, implement sustainable practices such as recycling, gardening, energy conservation to reduce operational costs. So that's really good. And we have already started also home farming and container gardening with herbal and medicinal plants and spices in our community. So let us always have that propagated, no, because sometimes there is that mindset that when you run an organization that you will live forever, there should be a mindset that you are only a steward, and it is always a transition, and you have to prepare somebody to follow you, because just for purposes of discussion, I visited this community last weekend during the training. So the community has not really moved forward or improved or attained their objective to secure their land. And the secretary said, I had been here for the last 30 years. And we challenged her, you have to prepare. If you're already tired, you have to prepare who will succeed you or train you. But if you keep holding all those papers and documents and keep complaining, so there is always something wrong with how it is going. So we deserve what we have. So it's also in the community care facilities. It should be community ownership and sustainability, that whoever leads there is temporary to set up the system and then train somebody to assume it and all these things. And because those who are aging will graduate, and there would be new senior elderly groups and leaders who would be serving the community. Because when sometimes an organization is just being, ano ba, you look at na, there is one joke. Uh, Ay, ma'am, ma'am, our president has finally been passed away. So we can now have the election. So he can be replaced. So when this is a very noble practice, but you see, there's always been a how do you call that? No, a concept also, because sometimes the prime movers, the pioneers, the organizers will have also attachment. So it should always be a constant reminder that it should be collective, community, and sustainable. And it only becomes sustainable if we delegate and we empower the community, because this is a very, very good project, actually, the community-based facility. So by focusing on community engagement, leveraging existing resources, utilizing volunteers' efforts, you can create sustain a senior care facility even with limited financial resources. The key is to build a strong sense of community ownership and collaboration. So let's start to build a community care facilities where there are also, because there are times of prayer, times for exercise, time for gardening. And of course, gardening when the senior citizens, that's why we have encouraged them, because when they touch the soil, and then you do gardening, also your emotions and even you are healed. No, your liver is being healed when you basically do gardening, especially in the mixing and touching of the soil. So it's really good. So for your assignment, take any community initiated activity you are part in, especially for the senior citizens. Tell us your experience and tag Ask Mami Lou on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. You can also scan my QR code to get the latest updates on my social media. Okay, so this episode, remember, is for education and entertainment and information purposes only. It does not replace legal advice of the professionals. So that ends Ask Mamilu episode 28. How to start a community-based senior care facility with no money. This is your Mamilu saying, Daghang salamat. Thank you for welcoming me to your home and your space, and see you next meetup. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thank you. Bye. Salamat kaayo.